Good evening and welcome to the first CFISD Town Hall. I'm Brandy Baker, Chief of Staff for CFISD. This Town Hall series is designed to give the CFISD community an opportunity to hear directly from district leaders, receive updates, and ask questions about the topics that are most important to our community. Tonight, we're focusing on safety and security with CFISD Chief of Police, Eric Mendez. We've received several thoughtful questions in advance, and we'll be monitoring questions submitted during tonight's live stream. We'll be grouping overlapping questions together to make the most of our time. Additionally, for safety and security reasons, please note that certain operational details cannot be discussed publicly. Chief Mendez, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Oh, no worries.
Wonderful.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here and do this.
Great. Before we begin discussing safety and security efforts of the district, we'd like to get to know you a little bit. So tell us a little bit about your law enforcement history, and most importantly, what brought you to serve the CFISD community?
So I've been in law enforcement approximately 36 years. I started my career for the city of Kingsville, just south of Corpus Christi. I was there for 9 years. And one of my good friends who I met there in the agency was originally from Austin, and he moved to Austin ISD Police, and he talked me into moving to Austin about a year and a half after he left. So I served at Austin ISD for 18 years, and the last 5 as the chief of police. While I was at Austin, this opportunity came up here at Cypress-Fairbanks. My mom, my brother, other family members live in our district. And so I thought it was a good opportunity to get closer to home or to family. And so I put in and ultimately was selected for the position.
And here you are.
Here I am.
And you don't want to leave, right?
Love it here.
Yeah, me too. So let's jump into our first question here. So beyond being a physical security presence in our campuses, what does a typical day look like for a police officer in our schools? And how much of their time is spent on education, mentoring, and law enforcement?
So I think it's, I would say, an even split, but we have 3 different areas. So, you know, it's pretty even. Primary responsibility is ensuring our students are safe and our visitors and staff are safe every single day. And so they spend, you know, a good portion of their day ensuring that the campus is secure, that everything is orderly, that the parking lots are safe, that the building is secure. And then they do, as one of my requirements, I require that our officers that are on the campuses get into the classroom. I think it's important that we build relationships with our students and their families, and so part of the way you do that is get into the classrooms and give presentations. They're not just law enforcement presentations. We allow our officers to be creative in order to build relationships, and so I've had officers give classes on cooking, and I've had officers do music presentations. I have a few officers that like to play guitar, and so they've gone into classes and they've played guitar and sang with students, and then we read to our younger children at our elementaries, and then we do law enforcement educational presentations such as internet safety or social media safety. A lot of our students don't understand that when they post pictures, they give away certain information about themselves that they really need to keep private. When you post a picture of, say, your brand new car with the license plate, your license plate information is public information and people learn where you live. And so you don't want to show certain information on your social media accounts because it's not safe. So we spend that time, like I said, and then, you know, it's our key is build relationships, get to know our students, get to know them, let them see us in a different light besides just law enforcement.
Wonderful. One thing that I've noticed since I've been here is your priority of relationships amongst our officers and our staff and our students. So thank you for prioritizing that. So our next question is, where does the department draw the line between routine school discipline issues, which are typically handled by the principals, and criminal matters that require police intervention?
So I would say that there's not just a line. It really is a collaboration between school administration and the officers on the campuses. We want our students in the educational environment. We want them to learn and grow. And so when incidences occur, depending on their age, we can consider them learning moments. The state of Texas, through law, does allow for officer discretion. And so if we have the ability to use discretion, then we want the administration to handle whatever incident it has occurred so that the student, one, gets to stay in the educational environment, has an opportunity to learn from their mistake, and then be successful in the future. Unfortunately, there are some laws where a student may violate certain laws where we have no choice. The law says you shall, And so then at that point, we work with the families and the school through the criminal justice process with the student. But I would say about 90% of what we do is working with school administration to keep the students in the educational environment.
Wonderful. Next question. So how do officers approach situations involving young people experiencing a mental health crisis? And does the department partner with mental health specialists or co-responders?
Absolutely. Mental health, to me, is very important. You know, through my career, through 36 years, you know, it's taken some time. You learn how incidents evolve and you start to see underlying factors. And so mental health oftentimes plays an underlying factor in some criminal behavior. Our students, you know, with the various stressors they have in life, they could use some sort of self-medication, which could cause mental health problems, or they have a mental health issue and they try to self-medicate. And so we work with various outside providers, and then internally, a majority of our officers are either trained and certified as certified mental health officer, or they've had crisis intervention training, and so they know how to deal with students experiencing an issue. We also have the mental health intervention team here in our district. It's comprised of 4 licensed professional counselors, 2 psychs, and 2 officers specifically assigned to the mental health team. And those individuals work closely with the student, the family, and outside resources so that the student, one, can recover, because as we know, mental health is recoverable. You can get better through using resources and different doctors. And then 2, it also helps with the transition. So if a student is having to do treatment somewhere, then our counselors and our staff work with the student and the family so that they continue to get an education, and then they work on the transition back to school when they come back to the campus.
Wonderful. Coming to Cypress-Fairbanks, that mental health team is definitely a point of pride and not something that you see across a lot of districts. So that's wonderful that we're able to provide that services to our families and students. So our next question is about our 25-26 long-range planning committee. And recently they highlighted several important security improvements for our facilities. How do these facility recommendations align with the department's best practice for school safety? And how do they make your officers' job a little bit easier in protecting our students and our staff?
So when the Long Range Planning Committee meets, you know, it involves representatives of the community, parents, students, staff, and they get to hear from all the various departments across the district. And each department brings their needs and concerns that they have for the Long Range Planning Committee to hear. And so we bring these concerns to them, and then they determine whether or not a bond is necessary. And so this last Long Range Planning Committee, I brought our needs forward. And so during the 19 bond, most everything that was part of the bond was physical and tangible. People in the community could see what the money was being spent on, whether it was building, cars, equipment, whatever the issues or needs were, they could see it. It was tangible. This time around, our needs are based on technology. As everyone knows, technology is ever changing. And so something you buy today may not be very good or valid or useful in, say, 5 years. And so our camera systems, our alarm systems, our card access, all the safety systems that we use, all are technology driven. Our radio systems that are used for the buses and the campuses and the officers, they're all technology driven. And so the needs I took forward are technology based. We need to update our camera systems. We need to get off of servers and get on the cloud. We want all the different areas that we monitor, the cameras, the intrusion systems, the card access systems, the alarm lockdown, the lockdown buttons. All of those systems are running independently, and so our dispatch has to have several windows on their screens open to be able to monitor each one. We need to move everything into a single pane of glass. So it's one screen that they're looking at that monitors everything. What that does is that increases the response time. That gives us more time to get there quicker. And so when you have to, or it shortens the response time, I should say, it gets us there quicker. When you have multiple windows, we're eating time trying to figure out what's happening at a various campus or different campuses. And so we're looking to move to a single pane of glass so that we can increase our response time, or have, get there faster, I should say. I don't know why I keep saying increase.
So, Chief, what is most important for families to understand about the work of the CFISD Police Department?
I think that families need to understand that we're just not there for law enforcement purposes. Relationships are very important to us, and building a relationship with our students and gaining that trust. Oftentimes, students only know what they know about law enforcement based on what someone has told them or what they've seen on TV, and so it's not just about that. It's a relationship. We're here for you. We're here to take care of you. We're here to support you. And so when you have an issue, coming to us doesn't mean that you're in trouble. Coming to us, it means that we're here to help you. What can we do to make life better for you? And then if you happen to be involved in something that you shouldn't have been involved in, we're there to walk you through how to overcome that and how you can learn from a certain incident that you may have been involved in, and how it can, one, you learn how it impacts you in the future, two, how you can get around that so that you don't have that impact in the future. And so relationships are key for us. And so if done correctly, every student will come to us no matter what the issue is. And that's what we strive to do.
Wow, what a powerful statement. So I could sit here and ask many more questions of you. So thank you for answering my questions. But we have some community members that have submitted questions, and I'd like to jump into those. So okay. Here's the first question. How is the CFISD Police Department working with local fire departments, EMS agencies, and other law enforcement partners to prepare for and respond to large-scale emergencies?
So we train constantly in our agency. It's not a once a year or once every couple of years trainings. We in this department, I believe that the better we train, the better we are. And so I always use the analogy from my old football coach: you play the game the way you practice. And so you practice constantly so that you're prepared. And we constantly look for areas to improve in so that we're always prepared, or as close to prepared as possible. As we partner with outside organizations, other law enforcement agencies or fire departments or EMS, we try to incorporate more training with them. Here in the last year and a half to 2 years, we've really put an emphasis on co-training. And so just this last June, right after school ended, right after we got through with all our graduations, our officers participated in a full-scale exercise. And so part of the full-scale exercise was an active shooter threat. We utilized one of our local middle schools, and our partners in law enforcement and fire and EMS were there. And so we ran a full-scale exercise from the start of the event through the medical response, all the way through reunification, where we would typically use another venue to move all our students to. And so everyone in our district, our staff members, district leadership, and all the outside partners and EMS and fire were a part of this full-scale exercise. On a smaller scale, training every year, we try to incorporate different organizations. We send out invitations to other law enforcement agencies to come train with us, or we send our officers to other law enforcement agencies to train with them. This summer, we sent officers to Klein ISD to train with them so that they learn to work with one another, because in the event of an emergency, think of Santa Fe. How many law enforcement agencies in Harris County responded to Santa Fe? 80? And so you want to be as prepared as you can with your partner agencies.
Wonderful. So that leads to our next question from one of our community members. As of today, do you believe that CFISD is prepared to respond to a worst case scenario? And then if you can, what specific measures give you confidence in the district's level of preparedness? So
I would say that I don't want to ever say that we're prepared, because we always work to be prepared. We constantly train, and so kind of like I had stated from the last question, the amount of training that we do is what makes us prepared. And so we constantly train, and we look at our deficiencies, and we move to improve ourselves. And so we train, we look at our safety measures at our campuses. Here in our department, the Office of Emergency Management works with us, and we look at safety plans, and we look at the district's emergency operations plan. And so we're constantly working to ensure that we're as prepared as we can be in the event of an emergency.
Wonderful. Let's shift gears a little bit. We received another question from one of our community members, and they'd like to know, do you think that the clear bag policy contributes to security rather than just being a feeling about better security?
So I kind of chuckle a little bit. So the clear bag policy went into effect probably, I think it was right after Santa Fe High School. And so I know that it was a hot topic when it first came out. And I know that even today when I'm on campuses, students will say, why? And so what people need to understand is that safety is not just one measure to ensure safety. It's multiple layers. And so when we look at our district, if you go back to the 2014 and the 2019 bond, we do everything in layers. And so I use an analogy. I know that a lot of people in our district get tired of hearing it, but I use a Swiss cheese analogy. Every slice of Swiss cheese has holes, but as you layer them on top of each other and stack them, you're closing up the holes. So the clear backpack is just one step in safety. I understand that some things can still be concealed within a clear backpack, but we do it to limit the possibilities of an individual bringing a weapon onto the campus. And so it's just one additional layer. When you add in the clear backpacks, when you add in the secure vestibules, the locked doors, the classroom doors locked and closed during every classroom session, the doors in the academic hallways, the fencing, the cameras, the card access, you know, we have a lot of layers in place to ensure that a student is safe every day. And we do it in a fashion that kids still have an enjoyment at school. It doesn't look like a prison, but we do it so that they have a nice campus, they are safe, and we do everything we can to keep them safe.
Wonderful. So next question from one of our community members is, can you discuss the district's safety procedures for athletic events, performances, meetings, and other activities that are held on campus after regular school hours?
So without going into a whole lot of detail of how we do it, what I will say is that we ensure that we have officers at every event. The Office of Emergency Management creates safety plans for our large-scale events, varsity football games, large district marching band competitions. Everything has a safety plan. We ensure officers are there. We work with campus administration because administrators are present at the event, and we work with them to ensure our students are safe and they have an enjoyable time at these events. And so oftentimes you'll see officers. They're there to provide that level of security and that visibility to ensure that the participants and the folks there to watch the event are secure.
Wonderful. So here's the exciting part of this live event is we get to take live questions from our viewers. So one of the first questions that we have from our viewers is think about the first day of school.
Okay.
What is some advice, or what do you want our parents to know about the first day of school?
So we're about 2 weeks out.
Yes.
Right? We're really close to the start of school, and it's been a short summer. And so oftentimes our community and our parents just don't realize the amount of traffic that's going to come on the first day of school. You have, 110,000 plus students returning to school. You have, our district has somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000 employees, and our teachers are returning. So you're going to see an increase in traffic. Plus you have hundreds of buses that are hitting the roadway that are going to be making frequent stops that you'll have to be aware of. Don't pass the big yellow bus when the school lights are, the lights are flashing on the bus. And so one, you're going to have to see an increase in traffic. Two, you need to be aware of our pedestrian traffic. You're going to have students that walk to school. You're going to have students that ride their bikes to school. And so you need to be aware of that traffic on the roadway. And then you need to have patience. If you're a parent and you're dropping off your student at school, know that we're going to have drop-off lines that are going to be extended, especially the first few days of school, because you're going to have new parents dropping off students that have never been to school, and they want to be a part of that first experience. And so you're going to have an increase in traffic. Be patient with us. We're going to work diligently to keep traffic moving. If everything goes according to plan, while you think that you're sitting in line or a long line for a long period of time, we can typically get morning traffic in and out within about a 30 to 35 minute window.
Wonderful. So another question from one of our viewers is that if a parent or student notices something suspicious or feels uncomfortable about something on their campus, how should they go about reporting that, or who should they report that to?
So if a student feels like there's an unsafe condition or something occurring that needs to be reported, that we ask that they go to their administrator or their campus officer. Oftentimes our older students are hesitant to report incidences because they don't either want to be involved or they don't want to be known as a snitch. I will tell you that tipping is not snitching, right? And so we have mechanisms in place to let our students inform us of incidences or issues that we need to be aware of, and we utilize the tip line. The tip line allows you to stay anonymous and still report the information so that we can look into it, or the campus administration could look into it, depending on the tip that you give. And so we want students to utilize the tip line if they feel like it's better for them, and so that we can ensure that the campus is safe.
Wonderful. Chief, before we close, I want to give you an opportunity to speak directly to our families. What is the most important thing that parents and students can do to help CFISD maintain safe and secure schools?
So it's kind of like I said in the last answer, is our students are our community. Every campus is its own community, just like the city of Houston or Cypress community is a community. And as a good neighbor living at home, you report incidences and issues to law enforcement when you see it happen. If your neighbor's car is being broken into and you see it, you call the police. If you're at school, it's your responsibility to take care of your campus community. And so we want our students to know that it takes more than just us to keep you safe. We need you to utilize good conduct, safe behavior, report incidences or issues that are unsafe or could be a concern to the campus. And then our parents, you know, we want our parents, be a part of your student's life, have those good in-depth conversations at home. Find out what happens throughout the day. If you hear something, if your student tells you about something that you believe is unsafe, contact us, call us, or on our website, on the district website, you can access the tip line, and you as a parent can submit a tip as well. That way we can look into those issues. It takes all of us to keep our community safe. It's not just a law enforcement responsibility, it's a community responsibility. Our staff, our students, our administrators, our custodians, visitors to the campus, everybody plays a role in safety. And so as long as everyone is aware and is willing to say something, if they see something, then it helps keep the campus safe.
So say something.
See something, say something.
There you go.
Is the thought, but you know.
Wonderful. Chief Mendez, thank you so much for answering these questions. Most importantly, thank you for your service to the state of Texas and to this amazing CFISD community.
It is my pleasure. I enjoy it very much.
Wonderful. And to our viewers, thank you for spending your evening with us and for being a part of this very important conversation. If we weren't able to answer your questions tonight, don't worry. We'll continue to add and share information and resources on the CFISD website. Most importantly, we appreciate your partnership in helping keep our schools safe, and we look forward to seeing you at the next CFISD Town Hall as we discuss school finance. Have a wonderful weekend and evening.
Good night.
Good night.